Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Golden Bachelorette. I'm convinced Joan Vassos is not moving to NYC with Chock Chapple anymore. She hasn't been wearing her engagement ring often. Amid rumors that the Golden Bachelorette couple Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple are setting up a home base in Wichita, Kansas, I'm growing more confident that they're abandoning their dream of moving to New York City. Sparks flew instantly between the couple when Chock competed for Joan's affection on the Golden Bachelorette Season 1. As their love grew stronger, both worked through complex emotions surrounding dating after losing their former partners. Joan and Chock learned to lean on each other, and they ended the season with an engagement. As Joan and Chock looked to their future together, one challenge remained. Joan lives in Maryland, while Chock lives in Wichita, Kansas. Before their engagement, they agreed to purchase a home together in New York City. Joan and Chock planned to divide their time between Maryland, Kansas, and NYC, allowing them to build a life together without giving up the lives they already had. Unfortunately, it seems things may not have worked out as planned. As speculation mounts about Joan and Chock's living situation, I believe their NYC dreams are beginning to crumble. Joan recently shared a video on TikTok where she modeled several of her favorite outfits. While she delivered impressive looks, fans were distracted by one noticeable detail: Joan's missing engagement ring. Her left hand was conspicuously bare, leading many to wonder if she and Chock had called off their engagement. Removing engagement or wedding rings is often the first indicator of a split. With Joan and Chock constantly battling breakup rumors, it feels very intentional to make such an obvious change without addressing it. I wonder if Joan's bare ring finger hints at deeper issues within her relationship. Fortunately, a missing ring isn't always a sign of trouble. There are many reasons why Joan may not be wearing her ring. It could be getting repaired or resized, or maybe she prefers to wear it on formal occasions. Chock commented on Joan's most recent and ringless Instagram post with "I'm a lucky guy," seemingly confirming they are still very much together. Joan and Chock announced their engagement in November 2024, but haven't shared news about finding an NYC home. Joan and Chock devoted themselves to house hunting after the Golden Bachelorette finale aired, but they were met with disappointment. After they lost out on their dream home in December, Joan admitted she's not willing to settle for anything less than perfect. Joan suggested she and Chock would put their house hunt on pause until the spring, when the market improves. However, spring is now here, and there are no new NYC updates. I believe this may signal that once the initial excitement died down, Joan and Chock reevaluated their plans. It's likely that maintaining two homes in opposite parts of the country, as well as constantly traveling for media appearances, is enough for the couple. During Joan and Chock's rare moments of downtime, they probably want to enjoy the peaceful moments rather than looking for a third location. It makes sense that Joan and Chock are backing away from their NYC dreams as they focus on more important things, like their wedding. Despite getting engaged just weeks after meeting, Joan and Chock are in no rush when it comes to their relationship. They're enjoying their engagement, with a wedding not likely until late 2025 or even early 2026. Despite Joan not wearing her ring, she and Chock appear stable and happy together. I wouldn't be surprised if moving to NYC is simply no longer a priority for them. Joan and Chock both had full lives when they met. They have families, friends, and careers, which can be complicated to merge in even the best situations. Because Joan and Chock's relationship has been so public and unconventional, I believe it's smart of them to focus on making sure everything else is in place before rushing into marriage. Joan and Chock's NYC dreams may never come true, but that doesn't mean they're destined for failure. They hatched their city living plan back on the Golden Bachelorette before they'd ever experienced life outside the mansion. Now that Joan's getting more comfortable in Wichita, and her fame continues to grow, it's unsurprising that they're reevaluating. The ability to adapt is a positive sign for Joan and Chock's future. and it proves that they're putting their relationship first. The fairy tale romance of Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple, born under the golden glow of reality television, is beginning to show signs of something less than happily ever after. While Bachelor Nation fans were initially delighted by Joan's journey to finding love on Asterisk, the Golden Bachelorette Asterisk, the latest signs suggest that all may not be as picture-perfect as it once seemed. Joan has been spotted multiple times in recent weeks, at charity events, coffee runs, and even her own social media posts, without her engagement ring. The missing ring has sparked speculation that her highly anticipated move to New York City with Chock may no longer be in the cards, and honestly, the evidence is starting to pile up. ###, the case of the missing ring. It all started with a few keen-eye fans noticing Joan's left hand looking noticeably bare in several recent Instagram stories. At first, some brushed it off as a fluke. Perhaps she had taken it off for a workout or forgotten to put it back on after a manicure. But then it kept happening. Photo after photo, public appearance after public appearance. There was no sign of the dazzling engagement ring Chock had presented to her on the Asterisk Golden Bachelorette Asterisk final. Now, we all know that sometimes people just don't wear their rings 24/7. But let's be real. When someone is newly engaged, they usually take every asterisk opportunity to show off that rock. The fact that Joan, who had been nothing but giddy about her engagement, suddenly stopped wearing her ring so often? That's a red flag. ###, Joan's silence speaks volumes. Beyond the missing ring, Joan's social media presence has taken on a different tone. Whereas she once frequently gushed about Chock and their future together, recent posts have been more ambiguous. There are no more hard-eyed captions about counting down the days until she joins him in NYC. No more cutesy selfies of the two of them planning their future. Instead, Joan has been focusing on family, her friends, and her personal interests. This shift in focus suggests that something is up. While she could just be keeping things private, that's a big change from the openly affectionate posts she used to share. If she and Chock were still moving full steam ahead with their plans, wouldn't she still be talking about it? ###, the NYC move seems to be on hold. One of the biggest promises Joan made during Asterisk, the Golden Bachelorette Asterisk, was that she was willing to leave her Maryland home behind and embrace a new life with Chock in New York City. However, there's been no visible movement on that front. Joan is still very much rooted in her home state, making no indications that a major relocation is on the horizon. At one point, she excitedly talked about getting to know the city and starting fresh in the Big Apple. But recently, crickets. No apartment hunting updates, no goodbyes to her local community, nothing. If she were truly gearing up for a big move, wouldn't she be sharing at least some part of that experience with fans? The silence is deafening. ###, Chock's absence in Joan's world. Another telling sign. Chock himself has been noticeably absent from Joan's recent public life. For a couple that was once all about grand romantic gestures and proving that love can bloom at any age, their sudden lack of appearances together is concerning. Chock hasn't been seen in any of her latest outings, and Joan hasn't made any trips to NYC that we know of. A couple that's madly in love and planning their future together wouldn't be spending so much time apart, especially not when they're supposed to be closing the gap between their two worlds. Could it be that Joan is having second thoughts? ###, a woman torn between two lives. If there's one thing Joan has made clear, it's that her family is everything to her. From the very beginning, she hesitated about leaving behind her children and grandchildren, even for love. While she initially seemed to overcome those reservations, perhaps reality is starting to set in. Moving to NYC is no small feat, and leaving behind a life she's built for decades may be harder than she anticipated. Maybe the excitement of the show made her believe she could do it. But now that the cameras have stopped rolling, she's realizing that her heart belongs where it always has, at home. ###, so what happens next? While neither Joan nor Chock has officially confirmed any trouble in paradise, the signs are all there. The missing engagement ring, the lack of mention of their future plans, and their physical distance all suggest that the fairy tale romance may be facing real-world challenges. If Joan is truly rethinking her move to NYC, this could mean one of two things. Either she and Chock work out a long-distance arrangement, or they eventually part ways. While Bachelor Nation would love to see them make it work, it wouldn't be the first time reality TV romance fizzled out once the cameras stopped rolling.